Hello everybody and welcome to your Puch guide. It is, in fact, that time again where we come around to play some Puch. Now, Conduit Gem and Sands of Time, both extremely good starter items right now. Honestly, you can get away with either one. I do prefer Sands of Time on Puch because having a little bit more CDR a little bit early tends to pair well with his ability to pick up his corpses and use them for sustain, as well as the fact that his one has the built-in cooldown for picking up the bodies. So if you get more cooldown early, pick up the bodies, they give you the flat cooldown, now you get more cooldown on your cooldown. Tends to pair very well together. Now Puch is not nearly as bad as he has been in the past, but he still needs you to make sure that you're subscribed on YouTube and hit that like button in order to help out with the algorithm. He still needs that. But he is a little bit better than he was before, which is nice for all of you Puch mains out there. But he's still not like the meta conquest guy or anything. I wouldn't, praise the heavens for the Puch, but he's not nearly as much of a throw as he has been in the past. As always, we're going to be going from the speed right over towards the red buff, clearing this as fast as possible, and then it's a race to the mid lane to clear one more creep and get that level 2. I'm going to keep myself at a little bit of a distance here, and we are going to grab our 1 at level 2 and throw that right towards the Raven. Couple of things right off the bat on Puch. We're going to cover this immediately because people always forget. Your 1 on Puch works like E-Set Spirit Ball. It works just like E-Set Spirit Ball. Yes, you can cancel it early. You do not have to wait for it to hit something. If you want to splody it, you just click the button again and it will splody. This is very convenient in a couple of ways. One, if you need to use it for sustain for yourself, you don't have to throw it onto a wall or something. You can literally just slam it on yourself and just go boop, boop. 2, sometimes you throw it out at somebody and it's barely gonna miss them, but it would hit them with the AoE if you just explode it. So keep that in mind. People always forget that you can do that on the Puch. Always. Gotta go, gotta go, gotta go, go, go. Gotta beads immediately. I'm just gonna try to pick up these bodies for some sustain. Also get that cooldown back. He actually is gonna get stunned right there, and we might be able to grab ourselves a couple of kills right here on the Puch early. The Raven actually stunned himself with his root because his root gives himself that sustain on it, and he had the 3 on him, which is hilarious. That also brings up a good point on the Puch, which is when you're getting dove, you want to throw down your abilities on yourself. You don't necessarily want to explode them. If you can explode them and grab the kill, absolutely go for it. Congratulations, it's your birthday. But chances are, if you're getting ganked on Puch, what is actually going to be happening is you are going to be getting killed unless you just go ahead and pick up those bodies immediately. You have to basically just pick up those bodies right away. That is also going to lower the cooldown on your undead surge. You are going to immediately get those 2 seconds off for every body that you pick up, which means you can get it picked back up more quickly. Because you can get it picked back up more quickly, it means you're going to be able to throw it out again, which is going to be more HP and more CC slowing the enemy. And that is going to be a much better way to help keep you alive than it is exploding, unless your explosion is going to kill them. That's the exception. If the explosion is going to kill them, then go ahead and go for it. But if they've got an easy way to avoid it, like how Raven has his overhead kick, where he can just avoid the damage entirely, then you're much better off just going for the generic CC, the generic HP that you're going to get regened from picking up those bodies. Now for your Puch leveling order, you're going to be leveling up your 3 at level 1, and then you're going to grab your 1 at level 2 and your 2 at level 3. A little bit complicated on output. So that's starting with your 3, then you grab your 1, then you grab your 2, and then traditionally you are going to max out that 2 first. That is usually the ability that you want to go ahead and max out. It will provide you the most damage for your team. It's going to give you the most damage off of your wombo combo. On top of that, you're going to then go ahead and grab your ultimate at level 5, although you don't necessarily want to level up your ultimate to max first. So oftentimes for me on Puch, I will max out that 2 first, then I will max out the 3, then the 1, and then the ultimate last, actually. There are a couple of arguments for leveling up the ulti earlier, but honestly, the ultimate is more of a zoning technique. It's more of a way to get anti-heal on the enemy than it is a way to get out a lot of damage. Reminder that your ultimate does go through walls. So like if I had somebody on the opposite side of this wall at 1 HP, those ghosty ghosts will go through that wall. You can also throw your 2 and your 3 over the walls and out Puch, but not your 1. That will stop on walls, stop on minions, stop on god, all that kind of stuff. On top of all this, Puch is basically the premier anti-heal god right now. He has anti-heal in some shape or form in pretty much every aspect of his kit. His 1 is anti-heal. His 2 is anti-heal in that it explodes you, and if it hits you, you're gonna be one-shot. You can't heal if you're dead. His 3, if you heal while under the effects of his 3, you will take bonus damage and be stunned. And his ultimate, once again, a giant anti-heal. Puch actually has 100% anti-healing built into his kit between his 1 and his ultimate. 100% anti-heal built into his kit, which means he is not a god that you actually have to get a Divine Ruin on. Most gods right now you have to get Divine Ruin on. Puch, not one of them. All you got to do is use your abilities, and they are inherently anti-heal. Because of that, it does give us a little bit more leeway on the Puch on our itemization, although believe it or not, we're still grabbing that Spear of Desolation first, because Spear of Desolation is amazing, and you're gonna buy it on every mage all year long until they nerf it. It is not, I repeat, not getting nerfed in the upcoming 9.2 Shiva patch, which means that it is still going to be the premier mid lane item through at least March. March is now the earliest time that it could possibly get nerfed. Now for our second item, normally on mages, you would grab yourself another flat pen item here. Oftentimes that is going to be that Divine Ruin for the anti-heal. But on our Puch, we need a little bit more survivability. We obviously do not have a getaway skill, and we do plenty of damage. That is not your problem. Your problem is going to be Robin is going to ulti on me. He is going to slap me around like a sardine, and then I'm going to be back in the fountain. So to help combat against that, we are going to be grabbing a second item, Warlock Sash. Warlock Sash, really good right now. Its only problem is it can be kind of awkward to work into builds because there's so many good mage items, but it is actually perfect on Puch for a couple of reasons. One, it gives you a bunch of power, which makes it good generically for any mid laner. But for Puch specifically, that HP that we get is not just HP for our general health. It also means we have more percent regen when we pick up our bodies. So having a little bit of that on the Puch can go a long way. You can see, though, not much you can do on Puch when they decide they want to kill you. So we are going to start working into that Warlock Staff as our second item. Also going to let us get it stacked up pretty early. So when would you be looking to pick the Puch? If you are going to pick him, you're looking to pick him as a big anti-heal god because of all the anti-heal he has built into his kit. So if you do have yourself an enemy team that's got like a Hell on it, maybe they've got a Guan Yu as well, maybe they've got a bunch of self-sustainers, they've got a Soul, an Oleron, whatever. That's the kind of opportunity where you're going to get the most value out of Puch. As far as gods that you do not want to play against, there's a lot of different types. It's what makes them so hard in Conquest. One of the major types of gods you don't want to go against in Puch is a god that has an immunity frame. So, a Discordia, a Raven, a Chang'e, anybody that has a really easy immunity frame, you don't want to go against because Puch's combo takes a long time to go off. Even if you're just 1-2ing, it's still a long time. It's still really easily readable. Lord forbid you're going for the 3-1-2 or something. Plenty of time for the enemy to very easily avoid all of the damage. Secondarily, as so kindly shown by Ymir, you don't want to be going against walls. Walls are the nemesis of Puch, really the nemesis of anybody that does not have a true escape ability. All he has to do is wall me off, and I've got to turn around and basically face certain doom. In the case that I do get walled by Ymir, all I can basically hope for is to throw down all my bodies against his wall, quickly pick them up, have them as a form of sustain. Walls and immunity frames, both going to be nasty for you. You don't want to deal with them if you do not have to. So be careful about that. If you are going to pick Puch, I recommend doing him as a later game pick. This would not be a top 3 pick. You'd be looking to do him 4th or 5th in the list. So that way, less opportunities for you to actually get counterpicked. For god pairings with Puch, you are looking for gods with setup. Peel is nice. Peel is a bonus, but honestly, the best peelers in the game can't necessarily put Humpty Dumpty back together again. So I would say while peel is nice, it is actually tertiary. It is not as important as simply getting somebody that can set you up. Puch can put out a lot of damage, but he oftentimes is going to need help doing so because, as we talked about, his combo is pretty much a giant beam of I'm going to combo you now. So if the enemy can be CC'd or blocked off in some regard, then that will help you land that combination a lot easier. That means that anybody that's got a high amount of CC, a long CC duration, doesn't matter if it's a Kumba Mez, doesn't matter if it's a Ganesh knockup, a Ymir freeze, any of these will do. Just some sort of standstill CC so you can throw out your combo. That standard combo, by the way, traditionally going to be 1-3-2. You throw out your 1 first, then you throw out your 3 and then your 2. The reason why you throw it out in that order is your 1 has a very long travel time. And so while it is on the way to your target, you can actually throw the 3, and the 3 and the 1 will hit at just about the same time. Once those both hit, then bada bing, bada boom, you switch it right on over, get the damage out. Now, no Volcanos, no Ravenos, please, I don't want it. So that 1-3-2, gonna be your kind of one-shot combo. Your ultimate really is gonna be used for 2 major reasons. One, zoning. So just straight up using it to zone out the opponent from an objective, from a Gold Fury, from a Fire Giant. It's great around Phoenixes because it takes up the whole lane, which makes it both good for aggressive Phoenix attacks and defensive Phoenix plays. And The other main purpose is just to throw out some general anti-heal on the team, because it can provide 60% anti-heal to everybody that it hits. 20% anti-heal, 3 potential times they can hit somebody, so they can put 60% anti-heal on the whole team, which is nice. Which is nice. For our third item here, we're going to be going right into Spear of the Magus. Spear of the Magus going to give us a little bit of sustain in the form of that life steal. More importantly, it is going to give us even more bonus damage. It's going to give us that bonus 7.5% damage after we hit somebody with an ability. And because our combo is going to be 1-3-2, it means that we're going to get all that bonus damage on the actual explosion, which just kind of guarantees that your combo one-shots. It also takes a while for your full combo to come back up, even if you do have lifesteal. So you really want to make it count as best as you can. You may only get one use out of it. Now this Robin's getting quite low. Looks like I will be able to finish him off with my combo. Volcano also, luckily, was going to miss me there by a hair. Now Gilga's on his way over. I got to be a little bit careful. Just done out of body, trying to get a little bit of regen, making sure I'm not too low for this fight. I am going to call for that gank in mid lane. Going to throw out the one. Ymir tried to wall it off. Luckily, he couldn't quite get it. Just going to throw down my ulti for general zoning. The Gilga's going to run right back into my bodies that I actually had set up behind me, making this a good fight for us. Now we can run over to the Gold Fury.
On my way.
When you're attempting to secure a buff without Puch, you can have up to 6 bodies out. So preferably, the more bodies, the better that you can have out. The more bodies equals more damage equals more secure. Now do be a little bit careful on the Gold Fury, because the Gold Fury can wander around, which means that he can actually kind of wander away from your bodies, especially if it's like a contested Gold Fury. So you do need to be a little bit careful about that. Also keep in mind that your bodies can of course be killed by enemy auto attacks, as well as various other things. So you do need to be careful about putting your bodies down early. If you're gonna put them down, you're like, okay, we get a lot of time. I'm gonna sit down 6 bodies. It's gonna be perfect. That's fantastic. But if you're like, whether they're coming in hot, this is gonna be a contested objective, I don't know, man, then save your bodies if you can.
Hide from me.
That way you can just go for the 1-3-2 combo. They won't have any time to get rid of all of your bodies. Because if you just throw out a 2 by itself, it really is a sad affair. Now, luckily, I am regenning pretty decently right here. I might even be able to turn this around. I'm gonna go for that combo onto the Robin. He is gonna sneak off to the side. They'll be able to live. And now we'll back up and get ourselves that Spear of the Magus.
Excellent upgrade.
Shout out to some Warlock's bonus HP, as well as Puch's passive right there. As far as your positioning in team fight, as we're moving into the later stages of the game here, your positioning in team fights is awkward. It is awkward because you would really preferably have a wall between you and your opponents. But your main ability to set up your damage is your 1, because your 1 throws out 2 bodies. But your 1 doesn't go through walls. So you kind of just have to play it by ear and do it your best. Great combo right there from the Ganesh. Gonna let us get out a ton of damage. Gonna throw down that ulti as kind of a zone right here. It's gonna put Ymir inside of it. Plus it's gonna zone out the Gilgamesh and the Vulcan from actually coming in. Just trying to walk right there into Gilga, hit him with a little 1-2, bada bing, bada boom. And we're in a pretty good spot right now. So realistically on Puch, your goal is just to stand back as far as possible while being in the range of your combo. if you were just like 3-2 comboing over a wall, even in the late stages of the game, that's going to be doing really good damage to a squishy. It doesn't always have to be the full 1-3-2 wombo combo. As much fun as it is to go for the wombo combo and one-shot people, a lot of the times it's going to be more complicated than that, and you're going to have to just do a nice 1-2. You're going to have to do a nice 3-2. Any damage is better than getting off no damage. Now, there's no way he can do enough damage to kill me here, so I don't have to be worried about it. So I can throw down my 1 right there, sustain myself, and then just use the 3-1 combo in order to grab that kill onto Gilgamesh. Make sure I'm prioritizing my farm here as well, as the teams are kind of pushing a little bit forward for some more kills. Honestly, probably would be better for us to just go back, grab all of our farm, and then get set up for a nice little fire giant fight. Gotta back up and get some mana as well. Now right here you have a couple of options. Soul Gem is not bad on Puch, especially because we're going to go a little bit of Lifesteal the Magus. You can combine a little bit of Lifesteal here with the Soul Gem, then grab yourself a Typhon's Fang. That combo will help you out a lot to stay alive. I am going to go the way of E-Staff. E-Staff here, same kind of combination as with our Warlocks. More HP makes us a little bit tankier. Cool, Puch needs that. Proc damage from the E-Staff, just generically good damage. And we're going to get even more bonus efficiency out of our passive because of the percentage that it gives us back. Our damage numbers are going to be just fine. We don't have to build 100% damage. We can go a little bit more hybrid. And then for our final item, chances are that we grab an Ob Shard to give us some more percent penetration, and that'll actually bring us up to 30% flat pen. We'll have 30% pen, 30 flat pen as well. So we will have tons of penetration. Not to mention, we're gonna have 40% CDR with a red pot.
Be careful left. Attack the gold.
Now at this point, the Gold Fury is respawned, so we should go over and do the Gold Fury real quick. That'll give us the Onis moving down the lane, and then we can go do the Fire Giant right after that. Team's in a little bit of trouble over here, but honestly, they should be able to work it out themselves. Better off for me and Osiris just to grab us this Gold Fury, and then we can get the team all the way shifted over towards that Fire Giant.
First step to power.
Now, for those of you guys that don't play Conquest, Puch has always been much better in non-Conquest game modes. He tends to be very oppressive in other game modes, such as Assault, where his ultimate takes up the whole lane the whole time, where his anti-heal gets to be utilized all the time when he's a lot more efficient, and where people have less room to roam around and avoid his combo. But he is really almost never, not exactly never, but very, very, very rarely had a time in Conquest where he was like the go-to guy. But like I said, this is probably the best time for Puch in recent memory. He's more viable right now than he has been in a while, a large part just due to the fact that mage items are very, very strong right now, just in general. And also, the jungler starts with you now. You're kind of buddies with the jungler again, which means that you have a little bit of a built-in defense system right off the bat because you've already got somebody watching your back, which is nice. Also, Puch's level 2 fight is actually surprisingly decent because he's got the slow on his 1, because the 3 can be a stun if they try to sustain themselves, and he can pick up 3 bodies off of that. It actually means that you're kind of tanky at level 2. People never expect how tanky Puch is at level 2 once you start picking up
Target calibrated.
those bodies for sustain. Now, once you get the E-Staff online, you're going to want to make sure that you're poking a lot, because that poke is actually going to give you those staff stacks. I'm going to throw down my ulti, which is going to cover up this entire area. Throw down my 1, pick up those bodies, which is going to give me the cooldown down, charge right onto the Woojer, and we should be able to go ahead and put this game away. You can see how annoying the Puch ult is right there. On the Phoenix line, that works just as well for defense as well. You throw out that ultimate on your Phoenix line defensively, zones everybody out, particularly the back line has a lot of trouble with that. As far as finishing up our build, we would of course have ranked up that Sands of Time. It would have been giving us 20% CDR. With that Red Pot, we would have 40% CDR with the Desolation, Sands of Time, and Red Pot. And then for that last item, that particular game, we would have gotten an Obsidian Shard for that 20% pen. It also gives a lot of damage now. Couple other items that are also good. Rod of Tahuti, just generically a good item. You can always consider picking it up. Divine Ruin, generically a good item. You just don't really need it on Puch, but you should be keeping it in mind for your other mages. And just for funsies, if you ever want to go for funsies, the Shield of Regrowth on Puch. If you really need something to help you keep alive, because you do get that effect when you pick up your bodies, you get the heal, you get the movement speed. It's kind of fun. It's more of a meme than anything, but it is kind of fun, guys. And that is our Puch Season 9 guide. Make sure you like and subscribe over on YouTube to help support the Twitchiest community. Thank you for supporting the Twitchiest community. If you'd like to see more videos, make sure you subscribe to the channel and always hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of the upcoming videos. Thank you for all your support and have a Twitchin' day, y'all.